Ah, man, it is finally good to be back. I missed all of you guys. How you been? I hope you didn't feel like I abandoned you because I'm right here. I'm back. Don't worry. I won't be leaving for long again, I promise. Oh, and there you guys are. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, and I'm finally back in BCG Studios 3.0. And today I'm going to be sharing some quick thoughts on some movies I never got a chance to review for one reason or another, mainly due to laziness. Like, I would go see the movie, come home, like, I'm going to do this review, but then I'd be extremely tired, and then I just don't do the review whatsoever. And then I was in California thinking about it, and I'm like, a lot of people want me to review these movies and hear my thoughts. So what the hell, I'll do some quick thoughts. And also, one thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to dissect a little bit more about my problems and issues with X-Men Apocalypse. Now, I wanted to do a spoiler video for that movie, but again, due to laziness and overexhaustion with the videos, never got a chance to do it. So I might just do that right now. So I have 4 movies that I want to give my quick thoughts on. And I'm going to go in order of the first one I saw to the last one I saw that I didn't get to review. So those movies are Jane Got a Gun, Zoolander 2, The Huntsman, and I believe The Nice Guys. There might be another film on that list that I have seen, but not... Oh, I could do 999, but honestly, 999, if you want a quick summary of the movie, it's really okay. It's like a 99-cent version of Heat, but just not as interesting as Heat. Like, the characters are fine, the acting is fine, the writing is solid to a certain degree, but honestly, it's not engaging, it's not that fun. And they kill Norman Reedus at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, Norman Reedus from Walking Dead is in the movie, and they kind of promote him to be this big thing, and then he dies. Well, something I found funny about 999 is that Norman Reedus and Aaron Paul play brothers in the film, and I found that really funny because Norman Reedus, Walking Dead, Aaron Paul, Breaking Bad, the two universes kind of come together. Oh, by the way, guys, remember Mako from my trip? Now she finally gets to join the family of plushies. So let us do the ceremony of adding her to the family. Welcome to the family, Mako. Alright, with all that said and done, let's get to the first movie that I'm going to share my quick thoughts on, and that is Jane Got a Gun. Now, out of all the movies that I'm going to give my quick thoughts on, this was the one movie I actually did a review for, and then I threw the entire review away because I just didn't like how the review turned out. It was just another huge rant. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, what? I would have loved to see you rant about the movie. But truth is, when thinking about the rant, my points weren't as sound. I felt like I was acting way too emotional and not being very logical about the points. Now, there are points that were made, but definitely it was way too emotional because, god damn that movie. I was just really upset that week of January. It was the last week of January where the whole, like, copyright debacle was happening. Chibi got his channel, like, his channel was at risk of being taken down. He lost his right to monetize his videos. You know, the fair use, Fine Bros. A lot of things were happening on the internet that freaking Channel Awesome, the Nostalgia Critic, I Hate Everything. It was just a bad week. And then I saw Kung Fu Panda 3, which a lot of you didn't agree with my opinion on it, which is totally fine. I might just do an analyzed video on that. But regardless, it was a bad week, and Jane Got a Gun did not make it any better. It didn't do anything to help. It is a boring Western. And the Western genre has already suffered enough. We don't need another, like, nail in its coffin. You know, not a lot of people do Westerns. The only person now that does Westerns that are actually entertaining and actually great is Quentin Tarantino. Like, he has actually revived the Western genre with Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight. But other than those movies, there hasn't been a really good Western since True Grit. That was the last true excellent Western. And so here we have Jane Got a Gun, and me personally, I actually was looking forward to it because it had my girl, Natalie Portman, in the lead role, and I thought she was gonna play like this gunslinger in the West, and people are like afraid of her. You know, it's called Jane Got a Gun, so I thought, okay, so maybe she's gay and she's like Pistol Jane, and she has like this badass reputation and all that stuff. It's directed by the same guy that directed Warrior. His name is escaping me, but the guy that he did The Box not The Box. It might have been The Box. Joel Edgerton. There you go. Thank you. It finally ringed. Joel Edgerton's in the movie, and he also helped to write the script. You know, it looked like it could have been something interesting. You got the team from Warrior. Joel Edgerton is a competent writer. Natalie Portman is an excellent actress. And there are other good actors in this movie too, like Joel Edgerton, Ewan McGregor, Noah Emmerich. I mean, it looked like the cast was interesting. But the end product is anything but. It was such a huge disappointment. And I think I was like one of 3 people in that movie theater. No one knew this movie was coming out. And I think they did that on purpose. There was very little promotional push for this film. I saw one trailer for this film, and it was like in early January. The film was coming out 3 weeks after that first trailer dropped. That shows you how little faith the company, the studio, had in this film. And the film already had like a huge production, a lot of production issues. Like it went through a lot because like, I remember reading news on IMDb where they said like on the first day of shooting, the director for Jane Got a Gun did not even show up to work. It was her way of saying, I quit, I'm not doing this, I'm not directing the movie, which is kind of a asshole-ish thing to do. I mean, if you really don't want to direct a movie, tell somebody. Don't just like make a statement by like, I'm not showing up on the first day of work, even though maybe they already paid me a large sum of money, like, you know, have this installment payment where you get half of your money now and then you get half later when you finish directing. But anyway, I feel like I'm sidetracking. Let's get to why I don't like this movie. It's slow. It's ridiculously slow. Like, in the first part of the film, you see Jane's husband, played by Noah Emmerich, who is the only good actor in the film, by the way. His character was the most interesting. Like, I like his character. He is the only character that I really rooted for. And he's gotten shot. And we find out that his old gang that he ran away from and he kidnapped Jane from, or like saved Jane, not kidnapped, saved Jane from, are looking for them. And so Jane has to like ride out to go get some help, and she bumps into her old husband, and she's like, hey, I need your help. Can you help me and my new husband? And he's like, you got some fucking nerve to come here. What, are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna come in my house, ask me to help your new husband. Get the fuck out here. Get out here. I don't want to see your face again. And so it seems like she's not gonna get his help, but of course, in cliche fashion, of course he's gonna come around to her side and help her out. They reminisce about their past. Ewan McGregor is the leader of this group, and then there's like this one big shootout near the end of the film. But between the first part of the film and the final shootout, there's literally 60 minutes of pure nothingness. Just set up, backstory, set up, backstory. That's basically it. And then you get the fight at the end. But the thing is, the things in the middle aren't that interesting. The characters that they're trying to set up, who gives a shit about them? Natalie Portman's character is so blah. There's nothing fascinating about her. Yet she is like the main focus of the film. It's called Jane's Got a Gun, or Jane Got a Gun, and she's not even a gunslinger. She's like this really timid, shy woman who, you know, I guess she was the pick of the litter because everyone kind of had a boner for her. I don't blame them. I mean, it's Natalie Portman. Who would not have a boner for Natalie Portman? But it made no sense not to make her a gunslinger. How many westerns do we see where women are actually the center of the action? I can only think of one. Holes. Yeah, surprisingly, Holes is the only movie where I actually see a woman being a gunslinger, like a badass cowgirl. You know, I don't know if many of you remember Holes, but like Patricia Arquette played like a teacher, and she was in love with this black guy. But of course, at that time, it wasn't really not feasible, but it wasn't really like culturally it wasn't accepted for a white woman to like a black guy, so they killed him, and she goes on this murderous rampage, killing all the people responsible for killing him. I thought that was freaking that story right there could have been its own movie, you know, but they attached it to Holes and they kind of made it a PG version of a badass movie, which still is cool because she is freaking badass. And I thought Jane Got a Gun probably could be a Western that can put a female protagonist at the center of it, and she'd be like this badass gunslinger. But no, she's still the timid shy. I need your help, please. Help me, please. Help me, please. And Joel Edgerton's character, I came close to liking him because he is a complex character, and there's a lot of history that he has with Jane, and it was interesting seeing him overcome all those differences, and they kind of end up together anyway at the end because her husband dies because of the gunshot. And so it technically was a happy ending for him anyway. He got the girl of his dreams again. But I had a hard time really caring about his character too. I mean, yes, there was interesting facets to his character, but that's about it. And then there's Ewan McGregor's character. First off, Ewan McGregor. What the fuck was that accent you were trying to pull off? It sounded like a cartoon villain accent. He's like, I'm gonna come for you and you're gonna hightail it out of here. I'm gonna go get my boys and we're gonna go hightail all over there and shoot you in the face. That was close to what his accent was like. I'm sure I butchered it a little bit, but it sounded like he was struggling to keep the accent going. I mean, he is I believe he's Scottish. He might be Scottish or British. I don't really remember. But he's from the United Kingdoms, and he was trying to hide his true accent with a southern accent, and it didn't come off as convincing. It wasn't believable. The end fight scene that happens at the end of the film was somewhat riveting, even though most of it was done in the dark. Yeah. Most of it was done in the dark, so you could barely see what was happening. Yeah, you hear the gunshots and you see them blowing holes through the house, but you can't see whether or not they hit somebody or like the blood splurt and all that stuff. It's all dim light darkness. And to the film's credit, that is accurate to the time, but it doesn't make a riveting film. So overall, like the film, guys, it's so forgettable. Like, I'm surprised I remembered this much right now off the top of my head. Yes, I'm just saying this from the top of my head. This is all the things that I remembered. But it is still a forgettable film. It's truly a waste of time. In fact, if I remember correctly, the grade I gave it in my review that I threw away was a 1 out of 5 stars. It's an unnecessary waste of time. There's no point in seeing it. It's boring. It's not that compelling. It's a piss poor attempt to make a interesting Western, and it does nothing but hurt the genre that it's trying to. It hurts the genre that it is, basically. And they had a chance to really make an interesting Western story with a female protagonist, but they decided to cop out and take the generic path of no return, and the film suffered. It clearly suffered for it. And yeah, those are my thoughts on Jane Got a Gun. Sorry, it's a bit jumbled. I just basically improv this whole review, or quick thoughts. This is kind of like a review, but not in the same structure as a review. It's all over the place, so that's why. I just thought I'd shoot out these thoughts and stuff like that. So stay tuned. I'm going to do my quick thoughts on Zoolander 2, and then after that, The Huntsman, and then probably The Nice Guys, and then do more thoughts on X-Men Apocalypse. So stay tuned for that. And until then, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. I'm talking about the second, the gunslinger known as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.